Welcome to the Lizard Life. I'm Elizabeth, Liz, or Lizard, depending on how you know me, and this is my life. And it has been a stressful one this week. I had this plan. I wanted to show you guys the making of my costume for FanX this year. And kind of the most important part of the costume just would not work out for me. So that's what you're going to be watching here. Because I did film like time lapses and stuff. So as you maybe watch that, I'm also going to just talk about this week and how stressful it was. Because again, I'm trying to be open and honest and show you the realness of my life. It's not always happy and fun and successful craft projects. So, I did film an intro that you'll be seeing next week. And I also filmed a little bit explaining what my plan was. So, let's go. Before I start sewing those pieces together, I want to work on dyeing this. Oh my gosh. I want to work on dyeing this wig. I'll probably style it as well after it's been dyed, I think. I'm just going to use synthetic fabric dye. This brand, you guys, like, not sponsored. I use them every time I dye stuff, and it's amazing. So good. So, dyeing the wig is going to be a little bit more complicated because I can only do half of it. So that's going to be interesting. I've thought about maybe just like taking a paintbrush to it with the dye. Actually, it might be a better idea to style it before I dye it, so that I can make sure it's all correct. I think I'm going to do that, actually. So, let's move over to the bathroom, where I have more mirrors available to me. Aw, look how hopeful I was. So the first thing, clearly, was to prepare my hair to put on a wig, which is really easy. Just separate it into two sections down the middle and French braid it, and then pin the braids into place and slap on that wig. It's interesting. You can see under my eyes in these clips that, like, I was visibly stressed. I didn't even realize it to the extent that it got to at this point. So before the trip to Oregon, I had 2 job interviews that I walked away feeling very proud of myself for. I felt like they both went really, really well, but I still have not heard back from them. I did finally end up emailing one of them. I can't find the email address for the other one for some reason. But for the one, I emailed them and asked, like, hey, are you still working on that decision, or, like, what? And they did let me know that they are still interviewing people and whatever. Which is kind of annoying, to be honest. Here I'm messing with the hair and trying to figure out how to style it. That was not easy, dude. Like, this wig does not want to do anything but be messy. Which, like, totally would work for... Oh, I guess I should say, the character that I am cosplaying this year is Cruella de Vil. I'll explain a little bit more next week about that. But, we're doing, like, a steampunk Disney villains theme. And I'm very excited about it. little bit nervous about the steampunk part of it. For me, like the other two people in my group are coming up with excellent ideas. But the stuff that I have already is like works for punk, but not the steam part of that. I have purchased some goggles that you will see in a minute here to make it more steampunk. Anyway, back to the things that were stressing me out all week. I realized that I had completely misunderstood how homework was supposed to work for my photography class, and turns out I was very far behind. Like, the homework that I was behind on was all reading stuff, and then open book tests on that reading. So, like, you would think it would be pretty easy, but because I have mild dyslexia and probably ADHD on top of that, it was very difficult to pay attention enough to take in the information I was reading and actually be able to do the tests. I did end up getting that done though, and I am caught up now, which is a relief. But in that process, I realized that I was also missing a couple of homework assignments from my math class from like early in the semester, which was really annoying because then I had to go back and do like 2+4 kind of stuff. Oh, now I'm starting to actually dye the wig. I started out by combing it so that I could get exactly a straight line exactly down the middle of it. And then I put Vaseline on the hair closest to that middle part to protect it so that I wouldn't have to worry about accidentally getting dye on that part. Didn't end up making that much of a difference. Well, it did. It did. And there was a really cool line straight down the middle. You'll see that later. So I was behind on homework, had a lot I needed to get done. And then I was trying to get this done, and you'll see later, it just wasn't working for whatever reason. And on top of that, it was my time of the month, and it was the most painful one I've ever had. Who knows why? But my brain was not logicking, like, ever throughout the entire week. So, like, in the math class, the math would be super easy, but I would try to overcomplicate it because it was so easy. And then I would end up getting things wrong and knowing exactly what I was doing wrong and how to fix it, and I just wasn't doing it and wasn't even noticing until the teacher would get something completely different. And my brain is still doing that, actually, which is really frustrating. Like, I totally failed a quiz in math yesterday because of it. It was really, really, really frustrating because I know exactly what I'm doing wrong and I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm just not. But anyway, last week was also my first shift at my new job, which is Fear Factory. It was super, super, super fun and also exhausting. And I lost my voice because I was like doing kind of a gravelly voice. A very good friend is also doing Fear Factory, and so we've been carpooling. And when we got there, she went to check in with the supervisor, and the supervisor was like, hey, we actually have enough people in the tower where I'm supposed to be, and asked if I would be willing to substitute in the basement where my friend is stationed. And I was like, okay, I was not expecting that, but sure, why not? So they had me stand at the top of these stairs and be like menacing, and then like quickly move out of the way when customers were coming up, like after they had seen me at the top of the stairs. And then I had some lines that had to do with the story of the whole factory. And it was so much fun. Like, I loved it was so funny to be standing up there and then like quickly move out of the way, out of eyesight, and they'd all be like, "Oh no, where did she go? She's gonna jump out at us." It was so funny. I mean, a lot of teenage boys made jokes about like trying to get my number and stupid things like that, which is normal for a haunted house. Like, I've made similar stupid jokes, not about like hitting on the scare actors or anything, but it's a fear response to make a dumb joke. But it was so funny. Like, I was really glad that I had a couple seconds before they actually reached the top of the stairs because I laughed at a lot of their reactions. It was so fun. And by the end of the night, I almost had no voice at all. Here's an interesting development. So, it looks like the dye is affecting like the netting that the hair is all connected to. So it's like under here is black and it's causing some of the hair to be dyed, which might end up being a good look, but it's not exactly what I wanted. So I've made a concoction of water, rubbing alcohol, and fabric softener that I'm just gonna squirt on there and hope for the best. And I have no idea how well this will work. I'm just reusing a hydrogen peroxide bottle. This is insane. Okay, I was rubbing it in a lot, and that seems to have worked pretty well, but not perfect. Don't love that. I'm gonna let it sit for like 24 hours, probably. Probably a little longer than that, because I have school. And then we'll come back to it. I have a little bit more dye, so hopefully that'll be enough. Also, art. It has been a little over 24 hours, and I'm kind of nervous to check on this wig. Let's see. Okay, it's dry. Let's see in the light. Actually, not bad. And the gray underneath the white gives it a little bit more depth, so that's good. I'm nervous to put it on though. I just put my hair in one braid because I'm feeling lazy. But I'm just gonna bobby pin it up like I did last night with the two braids. It's gonna cause a lot of weird volume on the very top of my head, but I don't care right now. I should just be like this all the time. So like the top up here is not as dark as I want it to be, but it might look good on my head, so we shall see. Is this going to stain my skin or hair? Oh my goodness. Okay, so I can say right now that some of it in the back is still a little bit wet, which means that it will stain me. So that's cool. There we go. Okay. So, without any styling or anything, black isn't too bad. Oh, okay. I think what I want to do is pull all of this up like that as much as possible, and then throw the remaining of the dye on it and hope that that is enough. It's definitely not as dark as I wanted it to be, but I think that's okay for the steampunk vibe. I need the other mirror. Let's see. Oh, yeah. It's like, I don't know how well you can see that on the camera, but that is very light right there. Okay. This is kind of a cool look, though. I'm like a rocker. Okay, ooh. See that? Not good. It's already on my forehead as well. Cute! Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put this back on the wig head and try to get the spots that are too light, but I think, I don't know. The whole thing seems a little bit too light to me, and I'm worried about rinsing it as well. We'll see what's gonna happen. I don't know. The whole thing seems a little bit too light to me, and I'm worried about rinsing it as well. We'll see what's gonna happen. My mommy brought me a grapefruit. She loves me. Yeah, that instinct about rinsing it was totally correct. You'll see here in a little bit, most of the black rinsed right out. Which was really frustrating. But here I'm still hopeful because touching up the lighter spots with that dye, and like you can see clearly right there, it would be so cool if it stayed that black, but it just wouldn't. So frustrating. Where was I with the story? Fear Factory was super, super, super fun and also super exhausting and very worth it. It was like gravelly voice at first, and then about halfway through the night I had to switch to try to be doing like a higher pitched voice, which worked, except that I was already in the habit of doing a gravelly voice. So I was I kept accidentally trying to go back into the gravelly voice, and it didn't work super well, but oh yeah, here we go. See, this is after I rinsed it. Like, what happened? Like, I've used this fabric dye so many times before, and it's turned out perfect every single time. Except for the backpack. Maybe it's just black that won't work for me. Huh. But, like, this dye worked perfectly on the netting that the wig hair is attached to, so I don't understand what was happening. Maybe it was just because of the material that the hair is made out of. I don't know. But I was out of fabric dye from that, so the next step was to mix together black from different colors of tie-dye that we have. And I actually was able to create a pretty decent black. And once again, it looked great on the wig while it was wet, but after rinsing it, well, you'll see. Yeah, it took a lot of trial and error and I did not succeed with it, which is frustrating. Also, for some reason, using this tie-dye, like, it was great where it was supposed to be, but then somehow I ended up with, like, very light blue-gray streaks in the white section of the hair. I don't know how that happened. And that's actually the only part that didn't really rinse out. So I don't know what was happening there. But my hair looks so pretty like that. Oh my gosh, for Fear Factory, they ratted my hair and put hairspray in it to try to keep it like looking super crazy. But my hair refuses to hold any texture whatsoever. So all throughout the night, I was like using my fingers to try to wrap my hair more. Like between customers, I was standing there like trying to wrap my hair with my fingers just to keep it crazy. And it still mostly fell out by the end of the night. And then I was dealing with hairspray in my hair doing absolutely nothing. Still worth it. What else? My friend who is doing Fear Factory with me woke up this morning and found out that she has COVID. So that's fun. Luckily, I was given 2 at-home tests at Pride last year. Or this year? This year. So I was able to test myself and it came out negative, which was good. What else? Homework was behind, but I am caught up now, which is really a great relief. Oh, I was trying so hard to rinse out the dye that had gotten to the white parts here, and it just did not work for some reason. I don't know why, like, the white part took on blue from the mixture I made, but it is what it is, I guess. We're just gonna need to buy a black and white wig, because, like, somehow a bunch of that dye ended up on the white side, and now it's all gray. I haven't rinsed it yet, so I don't know how much of this darker gray is going to actually stay, but I give up. Now I want to dye the whole thing a fun, bright color, though, like neon pink or green or something. Because I think that could be cool to see the difference. But we're just buying a wig that's already black and white. So this is how the wig turned out. On camera, you can't even tell that there's a difference. I mean, you kind of can. Like, you can see that it's darker underneath, where it used to all just be white. This is the side that I was trying to dye. You can sort of tell if you look really closely. This side is just more, less bright than this side. The blue is more, oh, you actually cannot see it on camera, but there's like a very, very light teal in some of these back here. I don't know if you can see it better there. Maybe. But this is how this wig turned out. And like you can tell, like the netting underneath there is dark. It got dyed. But the hair itself might as well have not been dyed at all. So that's where we're at. My mommy loves me, and she went out and bought me a different wig. Another really cheap one. And it is black and silver instead of black and white, which I think will be okay. That combined with the little bit of Dalmatian print I'll have, I think will be enough for people to know that I'm Cruella de Vil. Now I get to figure out how to style a wig. I'm concerned because I'm pretty sure the hair is plastic, like Barbie hair is. So I don't want to use heat on it because I'm worried about melting it. But I would like to try to get curls. So, gonna do some research, and then I barely have any time to get that done. So, right after this gets uploaded, I'm gonna be working on the other wig. Do you see what I mean about this thing not like obeying? This thing is just its own monster. It does what it wants. Like, okay, if I do this though, Karen. Ugh. Thanks for watching. I know this one probably wasn't that fun to watch because I was just talking about stress. This is getting in my eyes. It's really annoying. But I really appreciate you all so much. I forgot to mention in a couple videos ago that I noticed some of you have been rewatching and commenting on my old videos. And I just have to say that I really, really appreciate that because knowing that those are still entertaining people makes me feel good. It makes me feel like it was worth it, even if I only have like 4 people watching. I love you guys so much. I'm so glad that you guys are in my life and that you guys actually watch my videos. It was really nice. Thank you. I hope that you guys had a better week than I did and that this week is going to be better than last week for me. I'm really excited about FanX. Also a little bit stressed because I'm running very low on money and Fear Factory really doesn't pay very much, but I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Grapefruit.